Hey.
And so Kyle King then said, hey,
Hey.
don't do this. And it was your first trip.
Yeah.
So you said, well, he's fighting him in the parking lot. Obviously, I shouldn't be doing that.
No. Probably not.
But I had no other choice.
Sometimes you learn through watching.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you said hey because we're...
We're live.
Hey.
How about that?
XWC head trainer, David Cattin here.
Mm-hmm.
Headset. Hopefully you guys can hear us a little more equal this time. Hopefully the sound is a little more clear. I'd like to thank my producer, Jason, for helping us make this show better and better each week.
Huzzah. Bringing
Good
in the
job,
technology
Jason,
for us.
producer guy.
Produced.
I'm here with XWC trainer Adam Houck.
How are we doing?
I'm doing good.
Well, that's good.
Hopefully everyone at home's doing fantastic,
Mhm.
wonderful. I'd like to say that this week we're going to have the interesting topic of backstage etiquette that we're going to talk about. But first thing I want to talk about is the Wrestling Center. I want to talk about how things are going down there.
Not so secret and actually doing pretty great, man. We just had another recent run of tryouts here. Another four potential students come in, and each month that we see them coming in, we up the ante on them just a little bit each time, and they bring it right back to us, which is always awesome to see. So I'm excited to see what we get out of this new batch, with who's coming in for sure.
Yeah, we had a pretty good turnout.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty happy with it. I think that overall it was pretty cool. We had a good crop of students this time.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that, every time that we have this tryout, we get more and more people, which interest is growing, which is awesome now that COVID's kind of easing back. Restrictions are easing back. People are a lot more adamant to get out there and do things. We've had a lot more veterans reach out to us saying, hey, your precautions seem to be doing good. There haven't been any breakouts. There haven't been any cases down there. What's going on? And so thankfully, now we've got some vets looking at coming back, and we've got students who dropped off because of their concerns of COVID coming back, and
business is
hopping.
picking up, as they say.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit more about these tryouts.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get a phone number up here, producer Jason. Let's get one up if we can.
Like my lightning magic is about 5-second delay. There it
Right.
is.
Okay. So if you're interested in a tryout, our next one's going to be June 20th on Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Ooh, I know it's going to be rough. You might not want to come down to the center and give up your Father's Day, but hey, bring your dad down.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like having a father-son tryout together.
I mean, Ricky Morton and his son just picked up tag team belts, so it's something that you can accomplish as well, just as easily.
I know that Rey Mysterio and Dominic also picked up tag team belts too to be the first ever WWE father-son tag team champions.
So
Father's Day, come on down. Maybe you guys can be an awesome set. We've had father-daughter. Why not father-son?
Yeah, this iron is striking pretty hot, I'd say. So, I mean, now's the time to see if this is your dream and if you really want to come after it.
Absolutely. So June 20th, 2 p.m., Sunday, we will be holding those tryouts. I think that if you have any questions whatsoever, you should give us a call.
Boom, right there.
And if you don't take our word for it, that there is some testimony from Tyler Gray.
Graduate himself.
Hey everyone, you ever dreamed of being a professional wrestler? You can find us at the Xtreme Wrestling Center in Raytown, Missouri. And if unfortunately you're on quarantine and can't drive, you can Google the Xtreme Wrestling Center, look us up on Facebook, or go to prowrestling.training.
Prowrestling.training.
Yep, that's the place to go looking. You can check us out on Facebook as well. You can check out our KCXW on YouTube, where you're watching us right here, to see if you want to see the fruits of your labor coming into the wrestling center. A good chunk of the people you see at KCXW, especially those younger ones, they came right through this program. So that's the training that you see in action in the ring right there.
So let's talk about Tyler Gray.
Okay.
The big topic is backstage etiquette.
Mm.
I think that Tyler, whenever he goes to a promotion, and I've gone with Tyler to a couple different promotions. We worked as a tag team. Tyler always exudes a great attitude backstage, especially considered someone green in the business. He is normally very well received at every promotion that he goes to. Normally, the people around him are really, excited to work with the guy. And I believe that it is our philosophies, our teachings at XWC is what helped him progress. I believe that by having a good, sound foundation of fundamentals, that you grow to be someone that is valued backstage.
For sure. And it goes back to, to the core values of the school are discipline and respect. And backstage etiquette is a lot about excuse me, is a lot about knowing where to put that respect and where to add that discipline in when you're kind of navigating through and working with everybody and meeting people, kind of, all those different aspects of it. So definitely the training that we've put in with everybody here at the Xtreme Wrestling Center, we make sure that that's kind of first and foremost so that we really get a good professional student out of them.
Not everyone always receives our lessons as well as we'd like, obviously. It's unfortunately, part of this business. Everyone's an artist. Not every rock star that is the top dog is known for having the best ego. I mean, obviously, there are people that get up there and they let things go to their heads, or they find ways to feed their egos enough, and they find their promotions to go to, and they're able to get their work, but again, they start to plateau. In order to get the real successful people, you need to be able to swallow your pride, and you need to be able to say, I'm not the biggest fish in the ocean. You might be the biggest fish in that tiny pond that you're in, but if you really want to get to the top of the top of the top, you have to be humble, and you have to be willing to break down your walls, and you have to be willing to admit, there is a lot that I can learn, and I need to sit down, shut up, and just listen.
Mouth shut, ears open, absolutely. One of the things that I've been kind of telling students that just recently in the last few practices that I've been doing is kind of going back to that, kind of humility that you were talking about. When I was first getting work up in Minnesota, it was my willingness to say, hey, you're looking to put this guy over. Let me step in. Let me do that for you. And then, they found a way to make it work to where I didn't have to sacrifice the character I was bringing in, which was nice of them. But
which character were you bringing in? Shabam?
Shabam. That's when I was coming in as Shabam, yeah.
Nice.
And so, because the promoter really liked the superhero, he worked around, found another gimmick that they could throw me into. Because I was humble enough to go get myself beat up in somebody else's gimmick, it led to more doors and more opportunities up there in Minnesota, eventually with me being able to bring Leo D up and earn tag team championships up there. So again, being able to kind of, like you were saying, swallow your pride a little bit and do what you're being asked for something that can help end up paying off for you much later on down the road.
You know what it's called, really, at the end of the day? It's paying your dues.
Paying your dues.
100% paying your dues. And kids nowadays have it easy. They think that X amount of dollars should equal this. And then another X amount of dollars should equal this.
Yep.
And really, that's not how art or entertainment works. Not at all. Unfortunately, that's not even how collegiate sports work. They're looking for the best of the best, and they're looking for people who can fit the right positions. They're looking for the people that are willing to learn. They're looking for the people that not only make it their passion, but they learn to make it their work. I know a ton of passionate people. We get calls all the time down at the center from people. We get tours from people that come in who are super passionate, and they talk about, oh, well, you know, I could write this story, or I'd be this great of a wrestler, or I'd do that. And then I'm like, okay, well, what background do you have? What work have you put in to make yourself this good? Well, I've done maybe this, maybe that. I've done a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But there's no real work
involved, yeah.
Where's your dieting? Where's your weightlifting? Where's your actual cardio that you're putting in on the daily? A lot of people don't have that from the get-go.
Even just the bare minimum of getting in your regiment and getting in your regular training. I mean, at the end of the day, the WWE built a performance center with several rings inside of it for a very specific reason. To train, and to train, and to keep training, and to train again until what you've got is exactly what it needs to be.
Right.
And there's a lot of people, I think, especially you can see that in a lot of different entertainment industries and professional wrestling industry. Well, I've learned up to a certain point, why do I need to keep practicing? And that practice is where I heard a phrase recently that really hones it. It's not that practice makes perfect, it's practice makes permanent. And
I like that.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that we do at XWC is we practice, and we go over basic things again. And then after a while, we'll go back to them again, and you'll see something new each time that we go back to it because we're making those good habits permanent for you.
So you were talking about what we expect out of our new students, and discipline and respect are 2 of the core values out of 3 that we teach down at the center. By having respect for other people, treating others how you want to be treated, that is the golden rule.
Yeah.
And I think that that is the best rule to live by. I think that by having direct communication with people and by living up to your word whenever you've made that direct communication with someone, and by whenever you go to this promotion, you're not going to act like a prima donna. You're going to put in the work that you see everyone else putting in. If you see one person setting up chairs,
you're going to jump right in line.
You should be able to put up chairs. If one person's putting up the ring, you should be putting up the ring.
Or at the very least, you should be looking for the thing that's not being done. Okay, how can I get this started? Or who do I ask to see? Okay, you know this? Okay, cool. I'll help you get this going.
Right, but I mean, if we're talking day one, you've never been in that promotion before, what I look for is I see people kind of doing something that I could help with.
Yeah.
I try not to over-assume and say, oh, well, they don't have lights up. Let me go get their lighting rig.
Yes.
That can be...
Stay within your wheelhouse at the least.
Right, but once the lighting rig comes out, I'll for sure help carry it. I'll help connect what wires I can, and absolutely. I look to see what can be done, but you're absolutely right. You know, I'll ask as well. I'll look around and say, hey, what's not being done, Mr. Promoter Man, Mr. Booker Guy? What can I do? And they'll point me in the right direction if I need to go. And so that's normally one of the traits that we have, respect. Treat others how you want to be treated. I mean, the first rule that everyone should know is the first rule that we try to teach people when they come into the center is during COVID, it's a little more different. But you want to look someone in the eye and at least
greet everybody.
Absolutely.
If make yourself known. Make sure that you introduce yourself to everybody that's out there. I can't tell you the different times that I've talked to the promoters at certain shows after the fact, or I'm talking to more specifically I'm talking to the promoter's wife, and they're giving me a story about somebody who came in one time and he shook the promoter's hand and he shook a couple of the big wrestlers' hands. He didn't say anything to the ladies working the merch table or the concession table. Those ladies happened to be the daughters and the wife of the promoter. And
who normally takes the time to help people out with merchandise, concessions,
family,
tickets? Yeah, I mean, those are going to be friends, family.
People that
especially
know them
for
and
smaller
people that
promotions.
Are gonna say something. It's at the end of the day, you never know who anybody is unless you know everybody there. Which, if this is your first time in the promotion, you're not going to. So, you greet yourself. You make yourself known to everybody. You introduce yourself to everybody. specifically to make sure that you aren't leaving anybody out and you show respect to every single person that makes that show happen.
Absolutely. So we want to make sure respect is there.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a little bit about discipline, making sure that you're treating yourself right, that when you make your word out there and you've made a commitment to someone, that you stand to that commitment, and that when you get with people and you say, hey, we're going to be in a carpool together and we're going to go somewhere, I'm going to chip in my portion of the gas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to chip in my portion of the driving time.
Be equitable.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure that you can bring in as many people as you can into that car that are going to bring your group up. And if you can't,
costs down.
correct. And if you can't be reliable or trustworthy, then there's no sense in even trying to get booked.
No.
Trust me on that one. Personal tip. So
lessons from the past.
Absolutely. Learn from your mistakes. So moving on from here, Mr. Producer Man, notes. What do we got here?
Tired of me talking crap to you all the time? You think you stand a chance?
Oh, hey.
We have technical difficulties.
What was that,
coming
Mr.
up.
Producer Man?
That was a scary thing.
Goodness gracious. I love it. So we're talking about our expectations for our students. They're going to show up on time. They're going to get there being respectful. They're going to be disciplined.
They're going to greet everybody.
They're going to make sure that they are shaking everybody's hands, jumping on every job they can. And as they leave, they're making sure they're the last ones out and making sure the place is cleaner than they left it.
Boom. Big one. Big one.
What else do they need to know backstage etiquette-wise, buddy? Or what do we got next on the lineup? Oh, great question, Mr.
What did
Producer
they get
Man.
out of this, man?
Okay, so if you are able to uphold these things and you're there doing your job, first of all, you can get the almighty push,
Ooh,
as Jim
gotta
Ross
have
would
your
say,
push.
right?
Where's my push?
So if you get to, get your push, what does that mean? More money,
Yep.
more responsibility.
More spotlight on you. More time in front of the fans means, hopefully more opportunities in other places. So,
Absolutely. And it's moving your way up the card, getting those opportunities inside and outside of the ring. And hopefully the one big payoff, you might become a champion.
Ooh.
You might become the main event guy. You might be the reliable face, the reliable heel, the main one. And again, hard work is going to get you there. Are you going to stay there forever? No artist stays on top forever. No. But you'll be known as that reliable guy. So when you go to the next promotion, you can be the guy on top. And if you're reliable in a lot of different promotions as a guy on top, you can be working solidly at a bunch of different places, all just by putting in the work, by being respectful, by, honoring your word, honoring your commitments. And so by having these rewards, it's a two-way street. Promoter gives you something, you get a little bit more money, you get a little bit more merchandise, and the promoter gets a little bit more fans, and he's able to bring in his, money at the gates, at the tickets by, using you in sponsorship portions. There's lots of different ways that this benefits you, but it starts at day one, the day that you walk into the place that you train and how you represent yourself. It's going to resonate. So you need to start off by when you come in for a tryout, when you go in to even take a tour of any wrestling facility, you need to be humble. I love that word, how you say it, humble. And you need to make sure that you carry yourself with enough gravitas that you are aware that you're being respectful, that you're being disciplined, classy, and you just want to make sure that you're giving off the best presentation of you that you possibly can.
You don't want to walk into college acting like you know everything that the professor's about to teach, because it's going to make your job a lot harder in trying to learn things, because he has much less interest in teaching you, because obviously you already know everything. Correct. So rewards. You can get a whole bunch of different things, and even if it's not in the ring, backstage, you can get rewarded with several different jobs. You can be trusted more with the booker to help out with your storylines. You can be awarded more creative.
the more that you help out and the more that you're willing to do, the more promotion's going to see your value.
Yep.
And that is reward in general. So let's move on. Let's go to that little thing that you were showing us, Mr. Producer Man. El Diablo, right?
Yeah. Let's get that going. Maybe.
Tired of me talking crap to you all the time? You think you stand a chance with Heaven's Demon? Then maybe you can come down to Xtreme Wrestling Center and see if you got what it takes to step up to me.
El Diablo, what a mysterious guy. What was he doing in that junkie locker room? What the heck?
I mean, you find people in the strangest of places, man.
All right, so I know we're going a little long here, so I want to wrap this last portion up as quick as possible here. Okay. I'm not going as long as I thought, but that's good. But I do want to talk about this. And so, vets. Let's talk about how vets can affect the backstage and what a veteran's backstage etiquette should be compared to a new person's backstage etiquette.
How is it the same to a new guy? How is it different? What extra jobs is he taking on as that vet? Or should he be taking on, we should say?
Correct. So let's say that we've already talked about the new person coming in. Day one, I've walked into a promotion. I know that the XWC has taught me, first of all, I shake everyone's hand or greet everyone. And then I know, hey, after this, I need to jump on jobs, da-da-da-da-da. And from there, there's other things that you are supposed to do. But I'm not going to give away all our tips, guys. I'm not giving away training for free here.
You got to pay for that.
That's why you got to come down. Call this number right here. No, right over here. Right. See this number? Bow. You call that one. Oh, I covered up my face, Mike.
It's all good.
That's all right.
It's all good.
All right. So, vets. Same jobs, but they should be leading the boys.
I mean, they're the guys that have been there. At this point, hopefully, you know how the promoter's ring gets set up. You kind of know the basic gist of how his arena is laid out, how his scene is set up for the stage and everything. So as the vet, you should be the guy that's kind of jumping in, making sure those new guys walking in, either with you or with somebody else, hey, we need to get this going, so I need you to, start delegating, start setting people up in different areas that we can get done easily, just to start making the show go a little smoother. Vets, a lot of your job is making the promoter's job easier, finding things to take off of his plate that he doesn't have to worry about, so he can focus on all the other high-level stuff that he ends up having to deal with every single show day.
I'm going to put it pretty simply. I've worked for a lot of different promoters, and I've had to learn every single different promoter's, antics, what their attitude is, what their daily routine is. I have to figure out what works best for them. And at the end of the day, I want the promoter to focus on, for me, I want the promoter to focus on just one thing, my payday at the end of the day. I want the promoter has that envelope ready for me to go at the end of the night. So when I get out of there smoothly, it's all said and done. Oh, excuse me, folks. I need a drink here.
There you go.
So, again, you're absolutely right. When you go in there, each promoter is going to be different. Some promoters wanted me to jump on ring crew. He's like, David, you put rings together so fast and so well, and you've broken enough of my rings. You know how to make them sturdy.
I've learned how to fix this.
10-4, no problem. There's other guys who are like, hey, you round up guys pretty well, and you're able to break down storylines and matches. Even though I didn't write it, he's like, hey, go tell him I want this finish. And I'm able to help work out finishes, so I've been used as agent. Absolutely.
Yep.
So I'm able to go in and, that's where the promoter wants me. So instead of immediately jumping on, helping with the ring or something, the promoter will tell me, hey, I no longer want you to do that, and it sucks. At the end of the night, I'll put everything up because I don't have any other responsibilities by then, hopefully, most of the time. And so, I'll put things up. But there are times that a promoter or booker, he'll say, no, I want you to immediately go grab my main event, and I want you to make sure that that's ready to go. Then I want you to, you know, go grab the second main and boom, make that one ready. And then I want you to go grab opener and da-da-da-da-da-da. Or I want you to go make sure that all the merchandise table's 100% ready and set up and good to go. You never know what a promoter is going to want you to do. You're absolutely right. I always try to go by each promoter and their checklist. And like you said, as a vet, you will learn, you know, what needs to be done. But the more people on the ring, the faster it's going to get set up, the better it is for everybody. The more people on tables, chairs, banners, the better. You know, you can't go wrong as a vet as just hopping on it until a promoter tells you what to do. So that's one thing that I expect the difference in a vet and a new person. A new person is going to be asking, a vet's going to be telling.
Yes.
That is one of the major differences. But let's talk about during show. Backstage etiquette. What's the difference there? What should new people be doing during the show?
I mean, during the show, new people, I think, you know, they should be focused on
shutting up and listening.
Bingo.
STFU chapter 13:12. They should be being quiet, and they should be just listening to vets. They need to be watching matches.
Sponging it up, man.
110%. Now, vets, I think that their backstage etiquette, they need to be teaching and making it relaxed backstage. They want to make sure that the guys are ready to go.
Get the jitters out.
Absolutely. Now, there are different backstage mentalities. I've had backstage mentalities where, no, the boys need to be on edge. They need to be amped and ready to go. They need to be just like it's a real fight, like they need to get themselves in the zone, and you know, that works great for some promotions. And I know some promotions where they're like, no, none of that here.
No, man, we're having a good time. Let's keep it that way.
Right. It's a family tight-knit thing where they've got their own vibe. And then I've been where it's a mixed bag, where you got your click over here, your click over there, your click over here, and your click over there, and each one's doing their whole routine, and they're working each other, and they're working each other, and they're kind of working each other, but I mean,
it's something.
Right, you have your own thing. So as a vet, I think it's your job to kind of connect the clicks together, because the more interweaved you are, the more cohesive as a team you are, the better value you're going to get out of that locker room.
Absolutely. I mean, just the more comfortable everybody is with each other, the more you're going to be able to put people into different match setups and whatnot. You're going to be able to get more stories out of people because you're not so limited to who these people can work and get a decent match out of. So being able to, you know, if that's a skill you've got, being able to be the bridge kind of between those different groups and kind of help pull that locker room together. Be that locker room leader, if you will.
So by being a locker room leader, not just, you know, it's not in-ring etiquette that we're talking about.
No.
Backstage etiquette. By being that locker room leader, by really getting in there and getting to know your crew, and not for you, not just your advantage, but for everyone's advantage.
Yeah. The rising tide.
All boats, baby. All boats. If you can get everyone together as a good vet, everyone wins.
Yeah.
How do we teach that in XWC? Well, by coming down to the center, we have a whole plethora of people, all dynamics.
All ranges.
Oh my goodness, all ranges. And, you know, everyone in the whole spectrum, which is great. So by learning to interact with everyone, by learning to learn everyone's different cultures, different expectations, it can teach you already how to deal with certain issues and different, I don't know how to word it, different
tension points.
Yes. Bumps in the road.
There you
conflicts.
Wrinkles.
Absolutely. It teaches you how to surmount those much better than just being frustrated. So by going to a center or a performance place or a training place that allows you to interact with a whole gambit of people, the better it's going to be for you.
simply because, I mean, a lot of this business is people skills. Your ability to navigate kind of,
Perfect.
Everything that we've been talking about today is kind of navigating those socio-political waters of kind of the wrestling industry. And so being in a place where you're dealing with a lot of different people who come with, like you're saying, different expectations of how you should come to them and all of that, learning how to kind of humble yourself a little bit and not come with your chest out all the time when you don't necessarily need to. It's going to make you a much better asset because you can work with so many other people.
One last point about training down at the Xtreme Wrestling Center. We teach you to be a locker room leader by, if you come in enough, you become a locker room leader down at the Xtreme Wrestling Center.
Yep.
And we can bestow responsibilities on you that teach you these certain things by, earning your place as an assistant trainer. We can teach you how to run drills. We can teach you how to get in there and teach the basics. So you are now forming part of the class, and you're now learning how to hand down knowledge directly. You can come in and earn several different jobs down at the Xtreme Wrestling Center by helping out with creative on nights that we do practice matches, on nights that we do promo nights. By helping out with this creative stuff, you're now learning that part of the business. Whenever we're putting together Saturday slams, you can earn your spots, and that is part of the reward of being awesome at the center by showing that respect and discipline, showing up on a regular basis.
But I mean, even before you get to being match ready at that point, there's opportunities with those Saturday slams to learn how to work the audio board, learn how to work the production equipment in the back, even just walking around getting used to holding a camera. We make sure that you get introduced to all the different aspects of the business that happen behind what you see on the TV. That way, just again, the more hats you have, the more value you have.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this works out for vets as well. Vets, you can come in and learn how to work a director's position whenever a show's going on. You can learn how to help agent matches. You can come in and absolutely help with a whole ton of things. Sorry. But the whole point is that
in order to learn all that,
you have to come down to the Xtreme Wrestling Center.
And it starts with the phone call.
816-535-0870. So, Mr. Producer Man, I believe we've got one more person that wants to talk about the Xtreme Wrestling Center before we get out of here.
Somebody to send us off on now. Let's see it.
Everybody that pays attention in the Kansas City wrestling scene, you may know me as Juno Granger. But right here at the Xtreme Wrestling Center, I'm Jake, the assistant trainer. If you have a dream of becoming a professional wrestler someday, come stop by. You can come see me, some of your KCXW favorites, and anything else that a wrestling school could offer you. You just have to come and find out.
I don't know, but I want to thank everyone for watching us. Xtreme Wrestling Center.